Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Hi, Maya. Hi, Zen. Welcome, everybody. Today's topic's a interesting one, I think. It's about procrastination. And I think I wanted to get onto this topic because of, New Year's resolutions have come around. So we're trying to think perhaps of things that we can do to make this year better. And we've talked in previous times about the difference between New Year's resolutions and New Year's intentions, and what we can do. Is it possible to instead of trying to add new things into our life, maybe to scale back on some of our things to make space? But this is something that's kind of related, but along the same lines is this about procrastination. And I wanted to cover it because, of course, I find myself procrastinating from time to time and want to know what's behind it and what I can do about it. And especially as I know in 2024 I have a lot of goals that I want to do, things that I want to accomplish. Trying to figure out what's important and what's not important is of course an important task, but really actually getting it done and going and doing it is something else completely. So why do we procrastinate, and what's around it? And I think the first thing to talk about is that a lot of times procrastination is seen as laziness, is that we think that the reason that we procrastinate on something, or the reason that other people procrastinate, or the reason that people judge other people, so maybe I'm worried about other people judging me as being lazy, for example, and we think that this really is the cause of procrastination, when in fact procrastination is not this. It is an emotional condition, and if you practice mindfulness, you'll notice that procrastination is more about managing emotions than it is about laziness. That what tends to happen is, and it can be different for different people, for different tasks, that when we think about that thing that we need to do, what emotions start to come up with that. And a lot of times it's these negative emotions that show up, that I don't want to clean my bathroom because I know how boring it's going to be, and so I'm trying to avoid that emotion that comes along with boredom. And I think we've talked in the past about boredom and loneliness being like two very, very basic, fundamental human emotions, that these are things that we may tend to avoid, and I think practice is something that can help in managing these emotions, is learning how to face them instead of avoiding them. And another one that comes up is anxiety. So you go on a trip, you come back, you have a inbox full of hundreds of emails, and it's hard to open that first email because of the anxiety around what it is that I'm going to uncover as I go through those emails, and all of the work I'm going to have to do to reply to them. So whatever it is that could be causing anxiety, but it tends to be that procrastination is avoiding that unpleasant emotion. And so it's funny that we talk about mindfulness as present moment awareness, because procrastination I think is it's maybe another side, in that we do talk about self-care and caring for myself in this moment, but what tends to happen with procrastination is that we sacrifice future future Ryan. I sacrifice future Ryan for present moment Ryan. So I go, right now I don't want to feel that anxiety. I don't want to feel that stress. So I'm going to avoid this and I'm going to do something else. And this is really, really common, and really interesting that that's what we end up doing. And one of the consequences of that is that the stress that we're feeling about doing the task ends up compounding. So that relief that we get for a few moments from procrastinating is only happening in right now, in the moment that we're putting it off. Because what happens quite quickly afterwards is that the stress of having put it off starts to compound and become even greater. And so you see that as you do this, it ends up, the consequence of this becomes worse than if I'd just gone ahead and done it already. So I guess the question is, well, what can I do about it? Wishing procrastination to be gone isn't the way, I'm gonna be more motivated. I think we've talked about that with things like patience. This isn't the way. This isn't the solution to being more patient, or in this case to procrastinating. I've talked in the past about Judson Brewer. He's a researcher at Brown University, and also one of the mindfulness faculty who's worked with John Kabat-Zinn originally. Judson's been really, I really admire his work. A lot of it is around habit loops, and how mindfulness is one way to break negative habit loops, things that we don't want to be doing anymore. And Judson's been he's been meditating for many years. I often talk about his quote about how he would sweat through t-shirts on his meditation retreats, because he would be trying so hard and having so little self-compassion, and not wanting so badly to achieve, and kind of overlooking what those, what really goes on during retreat. So I mention this partially due to self-compassion, because this is something also that research has discovered about procrastination, is that in conjunction with this desire to get rid of whatever negative emotion I'm feeling in right now, there's also a lack of self-compassion for people who are chronic procrastinators, that there's a lot of beating myself up over it, and a lot of avoiding that unpleasant emotion in the present moment. And so Dr. Brewer says the way to stop procrastinating is, well, one, procrastinating is giving you that moment, in the moment reward. You're rewarding yourself for not doing something, for so there is a, even though it's not a long-term reward, it's a short-term reward, the feeling of relief that I'm not going to do that right now, I'm going to go do something else instead. So one way to stop procrastinating is to find a way to have a bigger reward for actually accomplishing the task. And of course this is a topic, of course, that's bigger than me to be able to cover today. One potential solution is know the time in the day when you have the most energy. Make that the time to do your most difficult task. And by the way, one of the great things about actually doing things instead of procrastinating is that the payoff, the emotional payoff of having got it done, is larger and more sustainable than procrastination itself. So, finding some kind of strategy, whether it be scheduling, making sure to get things done in the time that you have the most energy, that that you can get it done. And this can be a way to kind of dig ourselves out of the hole that we are in. And also that, that's something about procrastination, is it tends to be chronic, and it kind of can help to dig us out of the hole that we've put ourselves in. So that's the topic for today. So in the spirit of procrastination being linked to self-compassion, let's do a self-compassion practice today. So, good morning, Key. Welcome, everybody. Find a comfortable posture. If you like, allow the eyes to close. And let's start our practice today by just noticing that you're breathing. Can you feel your breath moving in and out of your body as you breathe? Maybe noticing the expansion and contraction of the abdomen. Expansion and contraction of the rib cage. Movement of air through the nostrils and the sinuses. Wherever you find your breath today. Just allowing your attention to rest there. Distilling the mind in this present moment awareness. And anytime the mind wanders away, gently bringing the mind back to focusing on this feeling of breathing. As we distill our minds in our mindful practice here at the beginning. So if any thoughts come up about things we need to do later, seeing if we can let those go. Let this moment be our time for meditating, for focusing on the present. And so now let's begin to shift into our self-compassion practice. So I'd like to encourage you to think of a time in your life that you were loved unconditionally, And maybe remembering a person who loves you or loved you unconditionally. Their love for you is for you, just as you are, without needing to be different or better. That for them, seeing you happy is enough, that they don't need any more from you. And they want the best for you. And you know that you are unconditionally, unequivocally loved. Just as you are. In this moment, the you that's already here, who's always been here, perhaps. And now, as you feel this love, as you bask in it, as you bathe in this unconditional love of another, is it possible for you to bring that love inside of yourself so that you are not only receiving this love, but you are also giving this love to yourself? That you can love yourself right now exactly as you are. I'm okay just as I am. Perfectly imperfect. And I don't need to be any better or different than I am right now. If I'm waiting to be perfect before I love myself, I'm going to be waiting forever. So now is the time to extend my heartfelt love to myself. And so what happens? What do you notice? As you open your heart to itself. Are there emotions? Do you feel any physical sensation in the body? And remember, there's no right way to be feeling as we do this practice. That you may feel something, you may not. It doesn't matter. Trying to do this practice is already enough and already extremely effective. And for those of us who may feel it's challenging to extend a feeling of unconditional love to ourselves, or maybe we aren't feeling what we think we should be feeling right now, is it possible to try using a few phrases to wish ourselves well? So you can repeat after me in your mind, or you can feel free to repeat it out loud. May I be happy and contented. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole, to whatever degree possible. May I be healthy and whole. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I have the courage to love myself exactly as I am. May I have the courage to love myself exactly as I am. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole, to whatever degree possible. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I have the courage to love myself exactly as I am. And so you can take a few moments to continue repeating whatever phrases resonated most with you. And then begin to bring our attention back to the present moment, the sensation of our breath, sensations in the body, noticing emotions or physical sensations as well. Has anything changed since we began this practice today? Just being aware. And so let's focus our attention entirely on the next 3 breaths. And now I'll draw our practice to its close with 3 rings of the bell. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for practicing with me and being here with each other as well. How'd it go today? Any comments about practice? Any questions or comments about procrastination? Feel free to write it in the chat. We'll have a look. Thank you, Ren, for your donation. And yeah, nice to see you, A, after a long time. Oh, Summer Star. That's who. Nice to see you, Summer Star. I think in closing, what I want to say about procrastination is one sentence. Procrastination is not a motivation problem. Procrastination is an emotion problem. So know that it is not about motivation. It really is about that avoidance of negative emotions. So I think the sooner we understand that, the sooner we'll be able to start taking action to stop chronic procrastination, if that's a problem in our lives. Yeah, thanks for being here, Rachel. I know I know you've chatted about self-compassion before, so I do I do think about you. I think about everybody on here. It's want to say welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time. It's really nice to see a lot of new faces here today. So I hope practice was good and useful for you. It's great to see so many people here today. Kate says, I procrastinate nearly every day, avoiding going out for a walk, which I normally enjoy while I'm doing it. Very frustrating. And that's interesting. It's interesting how that happens, right? Is that, once you get started, then you're like, wow, I'm so happy I'm doing this. And then when it's done, like, I'm so happy that it's done. It reminds me of my own yoga practice. Like, as I start with sun salutations, I mean, it's like those first 8 sun salutations are really hard. But once that, and I can see that emotional shift, like the emotions from the moment I'm standing on my mat getting ready to get started, and then the moment that like the 8th sun salutation's over. There's a big difference in my emotional state in those 2 times, and it's really easy to see why I don't want to get started at number 0. You know what I mean? So thanks, Kate, for sharing. Safety. Yeah, Jessica mentions the word safety. Thank you. Rachel says, I've been procrastinating for 4 months regarding my tax returns. This week I started 4 days ago and then stopped again, determined to start again today. And it's really funny because I also have like Hong Kong tax returns that I have to finish. And I am procrastinating on that as well. Because it's unpleasant, right? Who wants to do their taxes? Thanks, Rachel, for bringing it up. Esme says, deeply peaceful. My beloved grandfather came to me and hugged me. Thanks for sharing. Zen says, thank you. It was just what I needed to get some peace. I struggle with perfectionism and procrastination. And that's amazing too, because that goes hand in, perfectionism and procrastination go hand in hand, right? It's like, I don't want to, if I can't do it perfectly, I don't want to do it, is often the attitude that comes with perfectionism. So thanks so much for sharing that. Often related to ADHD, says JE. Yes, that's true too. Thanks for sharing it. Yes, and the audio-video lag is unfortunately not due to my connection. It is some a problem with Insight Timer right now. So, yeah, apologies for that. I can see also, I've been trying to work on ways to make my connection better, but unfortunately I don't think it's on my end. Maybe let me try lowering the quality of the feed. See if that helps. I'm going to lower it to the lowest quality. Micah says, thank you, Ryan. I used to consider myself a chronic procrastinator. Having recently been diagnosed with ADHD, I've realized it was chronic overwhelm. I'm working on self-acceptance to be less critical of myself while using some behavioral prompts to begin tasks. When I get home from work, I begin a task before sitting down, and that simple thing has helped me start to tick off tasks in my enormously long list. Small steps, big progress. Thanks so much, Micah. And I think that it's helpful for other people to be able to hear that as well. So tips from people who have effectively had some ability to manage their procrastination. Good. Okay, perfect. That's what I'll be doing then. I'm going to keep my audio quality high, and then just lower the quality of the video. And of course, if you want to see the full, the meditation, you want to see this full time together again, you can, I post video replays on YouTube, so you can check them out, and those will be in full HD. So, yeah, in case you want to revisit this. All right. Thanks so much. Let's close our practice the way that we do, with some loving kindness, some self-compassion, and also some compassion out to the world around us. So join me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life around the universe, including those who have not yet been born, may we all be happy and peaceful. All right. Blossom Violet says, Terima kasih. I say, sama-sama. See you next time. Oh, hold on 1 minute. Let's get that. Okay, say goodbye, Frank. See you in about 48 hours. Bye-bye.